I kind of do understand other people's feelings, I just think they're stupid.
Are you tired of the Marvel franchise? Are the films starting to get a bit stale for you? Hey. It's okay. Come close. The BSCU. Are you tired of viewing films as art instead of judging them solely on political bases? BSCU. That's right. Ben Shapiro, political commentator, lawyer, internet star, film critic, sex symbol. Is there anything this man can't do? No. And that includes filmmaking. A few years back, this totally not annoying right-wing heartthrob decided he'd get into the movie business. And with such riveting stories as Hot Girl Stops a School Shooting and Hot Lady Gets Stuck Inside of a Pantry for an hour and a half, how could I resist? I've actually been compared to this man more than once, with a lot of people affectionately saying that I act like, quote, a gay Ben Shapiro, which, first of all, truly, I'm flattered. Secondly, for what it's worth, that is factually incorrect. I am neither, and even if I was, there is nothing wrong with being Ben Shapiro. Also, I'm straight.
And when you go to see The Last of Us, what you generally want to see is a zombie apocalypse TV show, not two gay dudes dating while listening to Linda Ronstadt and then dying of old age after growing strawberries. I think that, and frankly, I think
But what we do share is a love of cinema.
Lego Batman.
This was making the rounds a little while back, but in 2010, Ben Shapiro released an article for Breitbart called The Top 10 Most Overrated Directors of All Time. Obviously, Tarantino's on here, but you also have David Lynch, Darren Aronofsky, Alfred Hitchcock, for some reason, Woody Allen, Martin fucking Scorsese. Casino is nasty, brutish, and long. I mean, he's not wrong, but that's not really a criticism. Raging Bull is gross. Okay. So? Everything David Lean has made was too long by at least half an hour. I know it's a mortal sin to suggest that Lawrence of Arabia? Oh my god, Ben, this is so embarrassing. And this isn't a political thing, it's just Ben Shapiro's really silly kind of thing. I love people who take themselves so seriously, because it makes it really funny when they just, like, fuck something up, which everyone does.
Spirited public debate. I have no problem with that whatsoever. What I'm talking about is the assumption that people with whom we disagree politically are inherently of bad character, or in your words, want to bring us back to the dark ages. And when the reality is the left that wants to stab babies.
You may remember this BBC interview where Ben managed to turn an interview into an argument and then proceeded to lose that argument to a man who seemed like he was half asleep.
For example, you said,
sure,
Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage.
You can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you
frankly,
just try and
I don't care. I don't frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you.
Okay, I made myself mad. There is actually a point to this video and I kinda lost it. Ben Shapiro's conservative news website turned conservative streaming service features some very interesting original content on it.
Folks, on Friday, we did something really cool here at Daily Wire.
Now, before I list some of their programming, it is worth mentioning that one of their many taglines they use for marketing is bullshit like, what you want minus the agenda, and where entertainment is the only agenda. Yeah, so the Daily Wire is the place for good content without an agenda, like a movie about abortion called Choosing Death. No agenda there. The first movie the Daily Wire Plus released was an action thriller called Run, Hide, Fight, which is, of course, Die Hard in a school shooting, and it is somehow 1,000 times worse than I could have possibly imagined. Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. It isn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but every single thing that is kind of not awful about it. Feels like a You Tried ribbon or a participation award. Like, hey, I think they really did try to give our heroine a character arc. She has a dead mom, and through her scary journey, she learns to cope with it. It doesn't really affect the story, like, at all. It all still boils down to the scene where she's about to run away, but then she turns around and goes back to do her John McClane thing because she's the main character of the movie. And this is the point in the movie where that happens. And then she calls a bunch of people pussies for being triggered, and then she proceeds to bumble her way through a school shooting where she sort of saves some people. And then in the end, she doesn't kill this edgelord shooter because she learned some lesson. What that lesson is and how this is all an extension of it, I do not know. And even ignoring the fact that, in my opinion, this is a horribly tasteless concept. It isn't even good from like an animal brain action movie standpoint. From the way Ben was hyping it up, you'd think this movie would just go fucking crazy, just be an insane action-packed bloodbath.
It is an edge-of-your-seat thriller. It's awesome. It's R-rated, edgy, gritty, complex, exciting.
But, of course, almost all of the squibs appear to be digital plugins, and it looks so lame. Like, I don't need a fucking Evil Dead ending, but calling this movie hard R is like calling The Conjuring a hard R. And all of that procedural Michael Mann stuff, which should be so hard to fuck up, is so poorly handled. All you really have to do to be average in that subgenre is have characters making logical and not stupid decisions. You don't even have to like them, shit just needs to connect. Like, Heat is a perfect example. Not the greatest characters, not the most original plot, not the best action, not the best dialogue, but it works because every decision leads carefully into the next, and you understand why everything is happening. The problem with Run, Hide, Fight is that it's one of those movies where if you stop to think about what's happening, you just get confused. Like the initial scene where the shooters drive in through the front window with a car, kind of unrealistic, but that's fine. But then, why does a guy materialize under the car in between cuts? And then they shoot two random people, and then this happens. Okay, but literally what the fuck was she trying to do there? I know what to do, guys, I'll run directly towards the shooters. And then some guy tries to stand up to him and he's like, hey, you're trying to be a hero, and then he puts a knife under his arm, and I guess that means he got stabbed.
Fuck you, bastard! Oh, slow down, man. How's that feel, coach?
That looked so bad. You could put the most graphic sound effect your heart desires there. He definitely didn't get stabbed, I could see. That's not how it works. And then this guy shoots someone, and then this Joker cosplayer is like, why the hell did you do that? And it's like, what? Oh, wait, he's crazy. Okay, never mind. That makes sense. Oh my god, and guess what the main villain says when this happens? Guess. Yeah, he says exactly what you think he says.
Trigger warning.
It's really clever, guys. Your movie's really good. Keep it up. And it's like, none of these things would be huge deals on their own, but they keep piling up until you can't take any of it seriously. I wasn't expecting fucking Ibsen, but with the budget and the cast and the everything, they could have not made it bad. Like, they could have at least pretended that, you know, the smart black tech nerd hostage kid who's supposedly live streaming this isn't just following this guy around with the default camera app on his iPhone opened. Or you know what? They could have bothered to hit record on the fucking phone. Truly movie making at its finest. Like, I don't like nitpicking, but I want you to watch this scene, and I want you to watch it carefully.
Before me!
Alright, so she throws some bottle across the room. I think, and then this guy makes a complete 90-degree turn and starts shooting it in the air as if that's gonna do anything but put himself in more danger. Oh, wait, he's dumb. Oh, okay, never mind, that makes sense. And then he gets some science water poured in his face, and as we all know, science water hurts your eyes. So he's like, ah. Yeah, it's a really good scene. Do you wanna know how she defeats this guy? Well, she watches someone else shoot him outside who isn't even in the fucking scene right before he kills her. She literally has to lay down and get saved, and this is basically the final action scene in the movie. Thank God her ghost mom was there to help her with that. The cast is, for all intents and purposes, not the worst thing about this movie. Black Guy and Joker Kid are playing their types just fine, and Action Girl is genuinely alright. Given what she had to work with, she is pretty charismatic, and she does command the screen for the most part, and I'd actually like to see her in a better movie. I could tell you this movie's good, but I could also tell you the truth, so 2 out of 10, let's talk about Vincent Gallo now.
So basically, what I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to come there and make me look good, all right? And if you make a fool out of me, I swear to God, I'll kill you right there.
Okay, no, this movie isn't part of the Ben Shapiro cinematic universe, but I want to talk about it anyway, and you'll see why in a second. Buffalo 66 is a movie made by and starring a crazy person who is, at best, someone I disagree with politically, and at worst is a creepy, homophobic, racist, douchebag attention whore with troubling allegations, which I have no interest in confirming or denying the accuracy of, because he sucks regardless, and he can personally go fuck himself.
Vincent Gallo was kind of a storied actor back in the day before he was barred by Hollywood for basically being a Trump supporter.
That being said, Buffalo 66 is a great example of separating art from the artist because I kind of loved it. I mean, I would love it more if I thought he was acting in it, but it's actually really well shot, impressively acted, and uniquely paced, and is an all-around really good pitch-black comedy.
Could you hold me a second? Could you hold me? Don't touch me.
Oh, and it's worth mentioning that if any of you are new to this channel, that I am literally the single most biased person to be saying this. I love dark comedy. My second favorite movie of all time is a dark comedy, and it is the genre that I hope to create films in one day, and it warms the cockles of my soul. But if it at all looks like your thing, I would seriously suggest checking it out because it is a really good movie. But fair warning, I would recommend looking into the director and forming your own opinion about him before deciding if you want to financially support the movie anyway. 8 out of 10, I guess. I'm bringing this all up because A, I wanted to highlight a film that I respect artistically, even if I don't tolerate the person who made it, and B, because the writer-director star of it is featured in The Incredible Hulk of the BSCU, and maybe in more ways than one, Shut In. Ooh, boy, is this movie stinky.
Fuck.
That's a bad word.
You're right.
Nana says it's the baddest word.
Well, Nana's dead.
It's basically a more consistent version of Gerald's Game, you know, where that movie started off great and then kind of fumbled its storytelling in the last 10 minutes. This movie is just bad all around. Yeah, and at first I was like, okay, this actually seems more interesting. I really do like small-scale horror thrillers like this. And I figured, hey, even if the movie sucks, at least it isn't trivializing and exploiting very real tragedies. Then the movie started, and it turns out that it crams substance abuse, rape, child molestation, and domestic violence all into an easy-to-swallow generic horror movie formula. Yay! Spoilers for Gerald's Game. Skip to this time code. It's worth a watch even if I didn't love the ending. Now, Gerald's Game is a good comparison in many ways, mainly because of how much better and more investing it is while having a very similar plot, but also because it tackles this kind of subject matter as well. And I know I have no right to speak on this, but I think it works much better there because it's, you know, part of the fucking movie. In that movie, our main character was raped as a child, and it doesn't shy away from that, and the whole movie is about her coping with that. Shut In, on the other hand, pays lip service to these topics and only really uses them to give this stupid fucking conflict about a lady getting trapped in a pantry some steaks. And that's what we in the biz call exploitation. But again, even if you ignore that, the movie is still terrible. It is so dumb.
You have to pee.
Then go pee. Good job, baby. You did it.
You remember in Run, Hide, Fight when our main character was saved by someone off screen? Well, in Shut In, our main character escapes being trapped in a pantry with the help of Jesus. No, I'm not kidding. And this shit made me bust out laughing. This movie, which is so desperate to be edgy that it has constant, unnecessary graphic close-ups of wounds, and has a main villain screaming about how much he wants to molest children, and casted Vincent fucking Gallo in it, has a moment where our main character reads from the Bible about false prophets to stop her children from being assaulted and escaping a cycle of domestic abuse. It gets better. She looks at this statue of Jesus, which gives her the idea to take a screwdriver and nail the rapist's hand to wood. Do you get it? It's like the Jesus, even though this guy's a rapist. Whatever. And then she has a moment where she looks up into the light and examines her hands, which both have blood coming from the center of them. Do you get it? And the Bible isn't just there to save her emotionally, it saves her literally. There's this fucking ridiculous scene where she calls out for her kids and they don't respond, so she's like, alright, they're dead, I'm gonna do meth now. Not kidding, again, this is all real. And before she snorts the meth, she looks up and notices something weird in the Bible. And it turns out there's money hidden for her in the Bible. Do you get? The Bible saved her from a life of substance abuse. Oh my god, it's so fucking smart. And then she realizes that she could stab her way out of the room with something metal, and then she gets out, and it very obviously is meant to look like she's crawling out of a womb. And then I was like, alright, she's gonna use the Jesus statue to stab her way out because it broke off, so she's literally being reborn with Christ. Alright, I'm not mad about that one. It's on the nose, but it's a little bit clever. But then she sets the Jesus statue down and then pulls the screwdriver out of the guy's hand and uses that to get herself out, not only completely ruining the visual metaphor, but only making it so that this guy can escape and threaten her children at knife point. It is so dumb. It's so dumb.
Florida's amazing.
But now it's time for one of the worst questions I've ever asked in my entire life. Which one is better? Tentatively, I'm going to say this one, but that's purely based on aesthetics. I don't know who's to blame, but somebody somewhere was actually trying, and the movie looks a lot better than Run, Hide, Fight. The movie looks professional, but the story is one of the least competent I have seen in a long time. The only technical flaw I have with the movie is the music. Throughout the movie, the music is fine, it's pretty unmemorable, and it's only really there for ambiance. But the final fight scene has this terrible stock action music. Oh my god, it's so bad. So yeah, I guess this one would be marginally better, but just because stage 1 cancer is better than stage 2 doesn't mean that I want either of them. 3 out of 10, watch any other movie instead.
I'm so depressed I don't know what I'm doing. I have not got a clue.
Okay. Alright, I have no energy left in me. Let's talk about the last movie. Remember that action lady from The Mandalorian? And remember how she got fired from that show for agreeing with someone who said that being a Christian in America was just as hard as being a Jew during the Holocaust? Yeah. Ben Shapiro immediately signed on to make a movie with her.
It was obvious that this had nothing to do with anti-Semitism. The Post obviously was not anti-Semitic. You'd have to completely twist the Post backwards in order to get to the idea that it was anti-Semitic.
Yeah, it's a Western. It's not good. It's called Terror on the Prairie. And I will say that in researching this video, I watched an interview that Ben Shapiro did with her, and she actually seems like a genuinely well-intentioned person who is just stupid as shit. The comments of this video are actually really funny, because there's people that are directly quoting her from the video in the comments, like she's fucking Gandhi or something. Now, the Confederacy was bad.
I'm so depressed.
Okay, it's not as bad as it sounds. Our good guys were Confederates, but it's implied that they feel bad about it, and the bad guys are Confederates too. So, I guess Robert E. Lee wasn't so bad after all. Alright, enough of this bullshit. I'm too tired to do the bit. I wanna be real with y'all, this movie is not the shit show I could so easily pretend it is. It's bad, and under no circumstances should you actually watch it. But I'm not gonna act like it's that much below average. The best thing I can say in praise of the film is that it does feel like a relatively uncompromised vision. Those other two movies felt like a producer beast rather than a project made by a motivated director. I mean, think about it, the only reason people care about these movies is because of one of the producers. And to its credit, Terror on the Prairie does show some level of passion and commitment that the other movies lack. There is a relentless quality to the film that makes it feel motivated by some artistic drive. It is also refreshingly gritty, especially when compared to Run, Hide, Fight. And finally, the concept is actually really strong. In the plains of Montana, while her husband is out of the house, a frontier woman is forced to defend herself and her son against a ruthless band of bloodthirsty outlaws who are hell-bent on revenge. I thought that sounded so badass. The problem, however, is with the execution of those concepts. I need more than a relatively strong concept to get me through a movie, and this just has nothing. The heroes, the villains, the dialogue, the visuals, they're all forgettable at best. Like, for a second, I actually thought the movie was gonna do something interesting. There's this scene where the oppressed white lady is telling her son about being on the wrong side of the war, and she's clearly very regretful. And this scene is pretty cheesy, with her saying that good and bad are not so simple, and what matters is making things right after you do something wrong.
Good and bad aren't always so clear, Will. Sometimes you wake up and you realize you're on the wrong side of things. And when your pa did, he had the courage to make things right, just like he always does.
And then they cut to the main villain, who starts talking about the war too. And I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting. They're going to be paralleled where they both regret their actions, but how they handle it is what makes them the good guy and what makes her the bad guy. Wait, no. The other way around. But then, nope, he just talks about how good he is and always was, and how evil the other guys were, and how he's also sad about his daughter dying. So this movie's idea of showing how, in its own words, good and bad aren't always so clear is by putting them both on the same side. Is that really how deep it goes? And the whole movie's like that, where the only real surprises are how unsurprising and formulaic the story is. Every scene I was like, wait, is that really it? And yup, it was really it. And when a movie has nothing interesting in it, it becomes really fucking boring.
Can I have my hat?
We'll give him his hat.
This movie is so dull and unexciting that it's almost impressive. Like, I've seen movies with half this much story and double the runtime that are so much more investing. One movie in particular is like that. A lot of people call this movie a slow burn when it really isn't. Things happen relatively quickly, but they all happen in these idle, sluggish scenes, which makes it feel like nothing is happening. Like, there's this scene where this guy gets his throat slit, and, you know, he's crying, and she's begging him not to kill him, and the main villains are laughing maniacally. And it was only until after watching the movie that I realized that he died. Like, that's how little I cared. I seriously just didn't process that getting your throat sliced makes you not be alive anymore, because it's just so clumsily executed. It's so boring that it made me dumber. Again, it's kind of impressive. And, alright, I have to say this. I know I'm a pain in the ass, and this isn't just an excuse to talk about one of my favorite films. But, come on. This movie wants to be The Hateful Eight so badly. It's like anytime they hit a brick wall, they just stole something from that movie. When should the movie take place? Because we want it to feel unique and modern, but also classic in its own way. What's a time period that isn't too weird for the Western genre, but also hasn't been explored a lot in films? Ooh, what about a couple years after the Civil War? But wasn't there another gory western just a few years back that also starred a commonly subjugated character that was also set right after the Civil War? No? Alright. What should our main villain be like? What's his backstory? What's his personality? Ooh, what if he's an old ex-Confederate officer man who's salty about their kid being murdered in the war? But isn't that literally the exact same thing as General Sanford Smithers, whose name I'm embarrassed I knew off the top of my head in The Hateful Eight? No. What can we do to give this early scene a unique feel? Set it in a snowed-in cabin, of course. But no. And sure, there is nothing more Tarantino than putting stuff from other movies into your movie, and Quentin Tarantino has been very open about how The Thing inspired The Hateful Eight, but at least apply some unique emotional context to the things you take, please? Oh, wait. I have just been informed that one of the characters directly quotes the Bible in a way that recontextualizes themselves as the Lord while killing someone in a badass scene. I mean, stealing from a different Tarantino movie is almost the same as being original. And sure, I could have seen this coming. Obviously, Ben was gonna make a de-libbed Tarantino movie at some point, but did he have to make it this fucking boring? So, you know, if you're looking for a movie that is not good, then I'd recommend Terror on the Prairie. 4 out of 10. And there you have it, the 3 narrative motion pictures the Daily Wire has produced. They did distribute some superhero comedy movie, but they didn't technically make that one, so I'm not counting it. So, was this a good experience? No. What did I learn from this? Nothing. Do I recommend watching any of these? No. Is the Daily Wire Plus worth, at minimum, $144 a year? No. And gee whiz, are there some interesting projects on the docket. Ben Shapiro is signed on to produce an adaptation of an Ayn Rand book. Because of course he is. This man is so predictable that you can't even make a joke about him before he's already done it with complete sincerity. I am so scared that if I make a joke about him working with Mel Gibson or something, that he'll actually do it.
It was obvious that this had nothing to do with anti-Semitism.
It's annoying, and artistically I find it kind of offensive how he politicizes everything he talks about. I mean, he's a political commentator, that's what he does, but, and maybe this is just me, if you're gonna make a video called Ben Shapiro ranks every Batman movie, and politics are gonna be one of your deciding factors, then maybe, just maybe, you're a bad critic. So in attempt to give this any sort of meaning, let's go full circle and return to Ben's terrible movie discussions.
I really like Batman v Superman.
In this video, he puts The Dark Knight Rises as the second best Batman movie of all time. And I disagree with that, but as a normal person, I'm going to listen to what he has to say, consider his points, and see if I agree with them or not. Here is how Ben Shapiro argues that the movie is good.
The Dark Knight Rises, which is rooted in A Tale of Two Cities. You should join our book club, because we're actually doing A Tale of Two Cities over at the book club. But Dark Knight Rises is about the evils of mob psychology. It's about the evils of populism. It's about the evils of communism. It's a really right-wing movie. I mean, Bruce Wayne is clearly a right-winger. He's a billionaire who donates money to charity, but does not believe that he should be taxed at exorbitant rates. And then he spends his evenings attempting to capture bad guys. Now, look, the big flaw for Batman always is that in a system where you know that the criminals are going to be immediately released back onto the streets from Arkham Asylum, do you kill them? You kind of have to in Batman's world. Also, Bane is just great, right? Everybody can do the Bane impression. And everybody has a Batman voice. It's a Christian Bale Batman because of Nolan. What do you want? It's got Tom Hardy, who's terrific. It's got Michael Caine being Michael Caine. It's just great. Dark Knight Rises is great. And I know a lot of people are mad at the end of Dark Knight Rises because Bruce Wayne lives, but you can't get to the end of Batman and Bruce Wayne doesn't live. Come on. That's just, it's too much. I understand people think there are plot holes and all that. Dark Knight Rises, as a movie, it still works and it's very, very compelling.
Apparently this man hasn't changed at all since writing that Breitbart article. A good 85% of his arguments are just stating things about the movie, as if that's film criticism. He's like a more pretentious version of Mahler. That shouldn't even be possible. And I thought that was the end of the story. But then something interesting happened. And you know what? I'm gonna just put my script away because I feel like this is something that is gonna sound like a joke. I like to be satirical. I like to make it not exactly clear when I'm joking sometimes. And in a minute, I'm gonna go back to being satirical. But this is actually real, what happened. So I've been working on this video for a little bit. I've been researching, writing, rewriting, getting footage, recording audio, editing it. I've been doing so much stuff. And there's one night where I was editing the video and I realized it was super late. No, it wasn't even late at night. It was early in the morning. I was like, holy shit, I need to sleep. I had a dream where Ben Shapiro kidnapped my dog. I'm not shitposting. This actually, oh my god. I had like a fucking existential crisis when that happened. I think I've been spending a little bit too much time thinking about this guy. My dog's sleeping back there, and I'm really happy he's okay. I woke up fucking sweating too. I was like, oh my god, my dog, he got kidnapped by Ben Shapiro. Ah, good times. You know, it's interesting. Because I was like scrolling through B-roll, right, when I was editing this video, and I noticed a clip that stuck out to me.
It is an edge-of-your-seat thriller. It's awesome. It's R-rated, edgy, gritty, complex.
Complex. Obviously, this is a pretty stupid statement. I mean, there's nothing really complex about making your political opponents school shooters. And I thought that's easy and a little reductive. And then I heard this really interesting, inspirational quote from producer and Daily Wire God King Jeremy Boring.
On a values level, but that doesn't mean that we're making, polemical or evangelical kind of content that's meant to change someone. We're making entertainment. We're making art. Sometimes art's even challenging.
Sometimes art's even challenging. Wow, real quick, I'm gonna have to... Yeah. Sometimes art's even challenging. Sometimes art's even challenging. Sometimes art is even challenging. Sometimes art is even challenging. Sometime in between this and the dream, I realized I had been destroyed. He did it again. I went into this video expecting to shit on him, but he just ended up destroying another leftist like he's so good at doing. He did it with his cunning and cleverness.
And it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater, right? Which, let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
So you know what? Scrap everything I said in this video. You know what? In this stupid fucking script written by a dumbass leftist, this fucking bastard had the audacity to make a joke about how Ben Shapiro signed on the talented comedian Rob Schneider for his films, which is actually something that's happening. He did, of course he did.
The incredibly talented and hilarious Rob Schneider.
And this guy seriously expected me to reference Norm of the North to criticize Rob Schneider? As if Norm of the North doesn't fuck really hard? Did you not read the poster? You know what, fuck it. I'm gonna take what I learned today, and I'm going to make a review. So, Norm of the North is a film about the evils of Hollywood. Actually, my channel is also about movies, and there are a lot of movies that I talk about that are made in Hollywood, so make sure to subscribe to that. But Norm of the North is obviously a commentary on liberal brainwashing, political intrigue, constitutional monarchies, freedom versus safety, biology, the Middle East, quantitative easing, and the importance of paternal figures in one's lifetime. It's actually a really conservative movie. I mean, Norm clearly starts off as a left-winger who rejects his place as king of the Arctic after his grandfather disappears because it reinforces the patriarchy, and he goes to Hollywood, which is supposed to be this liberal utopia, and ends up returning having learned that conservatism is actually the right way to go. Now look, the big flaw about Hollywood is how when it sees a polar bear with the superpower to talk to humans, it thinks that it's an actor in a polar bear costume. Obviously, that's just how they operate.
I'm gonna be a furry.
Also, it's just everyone knows the Arctic Shake, that's just a fact. Dads. The bird is obviously great, Vera's obviously great, it's obviously... I know everyone's mad that people in Hollywood don't ever stop to think that maybe this guy in a polar bear outfit is just a regular polar bear that can talk, but it's a Norm movie. You can't just have people thinking he's a talking polar bear. Come on. I understand people say the animation is bad and all that. Norm of the North is great, and that's why I think it is. Alright, I've been recording myself for like 5 hours straight, so for the first time in my entire life, I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you for watching. I'm happy to be back.